Welcome to US Secret Reports channel. Russia has raised the voice of the war in the region by sending 30,000 soldiers to the Belarusian border, in addition to its 130,000 soldiers on the Ukrainian border. The US armed forces are reportedly sending active weapons to Eastern Europe. In addition to US tanks, armored vehicles, various weapons and military personnel are deployed in the region. At the same time, electronic warfare systems began to be shipped to the region. It seems that this move of Russia against powerful electronic warfare weapons will have great repercussions in the region. The route of US tanks is reportedly Ukraine via Germany, Poland and Moldova. England also made a shocking claim. The British Foreign Office stated that Russia plans to establish a pro-Russian leadership in Ukraine. This is a method that Russia has used in Syria and Belarus for a long time. Russia has deployed almost half of its army on the border between Ukraine and Belarus. In addition, close to 30 Russian warships sail from the Baltic Sea to the coast of Great Britain, and there are more than 40 warships in the Black Sea. The United Kingdom sent 1,200 naval commandos, special forces and a large number of attack helicopters to Ukraine. It should be noted that the United Kingdom is the guarantor of Ukraine's independence. Russia's attitude in the Geneva talks drew the reaction of the North Atlantic Alliance countries. Russia's offer to the alliance was never accepted, and after this offer, Russia's offer to the table increased day by day. Stressing that Ukraine should not be supported by the alliance at all, Russia made an unreasonable demand for Bulgaria and Romania to be excluded from the alliance. At the same time, Russian President Vladimir Putin categorically opposes the entry of Sweden and Finland into the alliance, with the arrogance of meddling in the internal affairs of the alliance. The Baltic countries, which are among the countries most affected by this war, are in a fierce struggle with Russia both in the Baltic Sea and on the eastern border of Europe. It is a critical juncture that Sweden deploys 150 troops and defense systems to each critical area with its massive shipment to the Gotland Islands. After Sweden and Denmark, now the Netherlands made a military move against Russia. The actors who faced Russia today were the Netherlands and Denmark. The US-made F-35 fighter jets will be stationed at an airbase in Romania and will join the air policing mission, as evidenced by the data presented. However, when evaluated according to the region where these warplanes are deployed, Russian air defense systems may try to carry out offensive operations and test Russian air defense systems by approaching the Russian borders from the Black Sea and even Ukrainian airspace. Currently, it is known that the Netherlands initially planned to send F-16 warplanes to patrol the airspace over the Black Sea, but at the last moment changed his mind, choosing F-35 warplanes. Dutch Air Force F-35 warplanes will be in Romania for 2 months given the duration of NATO air policing mission. In addition, the alliance sent the Dutch warship HNLMS Rotterdam to the Baltic Sea on Monday to patrol the border of Russia's territorial waters. The warship is currently south of the Danish island of Bornholm. This is a planned position and they are there to show presence and solidarity with the entire alliance, said an alliance spokesperson. The Netherlands, which sent 2 F-35 fighter jets to the region, received a great reaction from Russia with this move. In response, Russia continues to install electronic warfare systems on its borders with Ukraine, Belarus and the Baltic, capable of hunting F-35s. Putin thinks this is the right way to face the growing threat of the F-35 in the region. With the support of the Murmansk-BN and KRASUKHA-4 electronic warfare system complexes, Russia thinks that it will gain an advantage over the F-35s by using the S-400s. Russia could seriously damage all covert F-35s in the alliance, especially given that Russia's electronic warfare systems have repeatedly proven effective against fifth-generation US-made Lockheed Martin Lightning II F-35s. The US Air Force uses a very special war weapon here. The US Air Force has a very important trump card that can defeat Russia's weapons. The US Navy's EA-18G Growler is built to blind and confuse the enemy, and this special spy and electronic system jammer jet currently deployed on US aircraft carriers is a major threat to Russia. Other NATO members are also taking action. Denmark has also sent another 160-man frigate and 4 warplanes to Lithuania this month to patrol the Baltic Sea. Denmark has responded to Russia's actions on the Ukrainian border by strengthening its defense capabilities in the Baltic Sea, Denmark's ambassador to Estonia said last week. Latvian Defense Minister Artis Pabriks told Latvian television on Monday that the country will increase its military presence in Vidzeme and Latgale in the eastern regions. The moves came as Russia recruited about 130,000 troops on its borders with Ukraine, escalating tensions in the region. Experts believe that Russia may plan to invade the country further. The UK Foreign Office said in a Saturday statement it has information that the Russian government is planning to install a pro-Russian leader in Kyiv as it considers whether to invade and occupy Ukraine. The former Ukrainian MP Yevhen Murayev is being considered as a potential candidate, the British Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office said. Murayev told on Saturday, "There is nothing to comment on regarding the allegations, as he is a Ukrainian national and still facing Russian sanctions. Some of these have contact with Russian intelligence officers currently involved in the planning for an attack on Ukraine," the British Foreign Office statement added. Russia has denied allegations it is planning to attack Ukraine. Early Sunday, Russia's foreign ministry urged the UK's Foreign Office to stop engaging in provocations, Russian state news agency TASS reported. The misinformation spread by the British Foreign Office is another evidence that these are the NATO countries, led by the Anglo-Saxons, that are escalating tensions around Ukraine. "We call on the British Foreign Office to stop provocative activities, stop spreading nonsense and focus on studying the history of the Tatar-Mongol yoke," a representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry told TASS. British Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab said on Sunday that Russia will face severe economic sanctions if it installs its own regime in Ukraine. In a statement Saturday, the White House said President Joe Biden met with his national security team to discuss continued Russian aggressive actions toward Ukraine. President Biden again affirmed that should Russia further invade Ukraine, the United States will impose swift and severe consequences on Russia with our allies and partners, the White House said. A source briefed on the US and British intelligence confirmed the US has similar evidence as the UK, regarding Russia's plot to install a friendly government in Ukraine. "Yes, we have seen the intelligence that Russia is looking at ways to minimize a long, drawn-out war. That includes things like installing a friendly government and using its spy agencies to foment dissent," the source said. The Dutch defense minister said the Netherlands would deploy 2 F-35 jets, along with support staff, to Bulgaria, while the Spanish defense minister offered to send fighter jets and a warship to the Black Sea. The alliance has also begun sending weaponry to Kyiv to deter a potential Russian invasion and strengthen Ukraine's defensive capabilities. Light anti-tank weapons from the United Kingdom have already arrived in the country, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry said Tuesday, while the Czech Republic plans donate 152mm caliber artillery ammunition to Ukraine in the coming days, Czech Defense Minister Jana Černoušová said Friday. Germany will supply a fully equipped field hospital to Ukraine, according to the German Defense Ministry. The country has traditionally avoided exporting arms to crisis areas since World War II, but German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said earlier this week that all measures will be on the table if there is further Russian aggression against Ukraine. The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv said Friday that the first shipment of American-directed materiel, 200,000 pounds of lethal aid, including ammunition for fighters on the front lines, has arrived in Ukraine. Though U.S. President Joe Biden ruled out sending American combat troops to Ukraine, Washington has approved the shipment of U.S.-origin weapons to Kyiv, including highly sought-after American anti-aircraft systems from Latvia and Lithuania. Those armaments would help Ukraine fend off Russian aircraft that, some officials and experts believe, would lead the way in the early stages of a Russian invasion. Estonia was given approval to transfer anti-tank Javelin guided missile systems, which the US has provided Ukraine with in the past. The Netherlands and Ukraine argued Wednesday that a top European court should hear their cases that seek to hold Russia responsible for human rights violations in eastern Ukraine, including the 2014 downing of a passenger jet that killed all 298 people on board. Lawyers representing the Dutch government told the European Court of Human Rights in the French city of Strasbourg that Russia had effective control over rebel forces in eastern Ukraine when Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 was shot down on July 17, 2014. The preliminary hearing into whether the Ukraine and Dutch cases against Russia are admissible opened amid soaring tensions between Russia and the West over Moscow's huge troop buildup near the border with Ukraine and fears of conflict. Ukrainian Justice Minister Denis Maluska told the court that the events in eastern Ukraine and Crimea in 2014 foreshadowed the current crisis. He told the court his country faces a consistent or long-term policy of the Russian Federation aimed at bending Ukraine to the Russian interests and swaying it away from its path towards Western values and civilization. This policy continues up until now. An international investigation concluded that a Buk missile transported from a Russian military base into Ukraine brought down the Boeing 777 that was heading from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. The missile launch system was then driven back to Russia, the investigation found. At the time, pro-Russian separatists were battling Ukrainian forces in the country's east. Dutch lawyer Babette Koopman said the Dutch government had concluded that the missile launch system was provided by Russia with a crew to the separatists. The Buk missile was launched from an area under the effective control of Russia and by, or at least with the assistance of, Russian state agents. Koopman told judges that relatives of the plane's dead are still waiting for an admission of responsibility, and the fact that none has been made has added and continues to add to the already tremendous grief of the next of kin. Maluska went to the court to personally argue his government's case. He told judges that after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, Moscow used this same traveling circus of professional separatists in eastern Ukraine. Russia denies any involvement, and its lawyer Mikhail Vinogradov urged the court to declare the cases inadmissible. If the Dutch and Ukrainian cases are deemed admissible by the court's judges, they will likely take years to reach a conclusion. Relatives of some of the victims were in court Wednesday. Before the hearing, they held up a banner outside that read, "Waiting for answers and accountability," printed over the flight number, MH17. 3 Russians and a Ukrainian are on trial in the Netherlands for their alleged roles in the downing in a criminal case that is separate from the hearings in Strasbourg. None of the 4 have appeared for trial in the Netherlands. In a statement, Dutch Foreign Minister Wopke Hoekstra called Wednesday's hearing an important step in the Netherlands' pursuit of justice for the victims and their next of kin. That is and will remain a priority for the government.